Hi, welcome to my podcast, Becoming a Cut Flower Grower. I'm your host, Lydia, and I'm here to share my year of growing and selling cut flowers. I'll be giving you the lowdown on everything I'm doing and sharing all the highs and lows, the good times and the inevitable disasters, all in real time. Join me on my cut flower journey, starting right now. Hello, good afternoon, welcome. It is Tuesday, the 1st of April, and it is gloriously sunny and really warm, and I think for the first time the car thermometer is not lying to me. So it is absolutely beautiful up here, and it feels an absolute blessing to be able to sit and get the afternoon sun, which is actually all we get up here at the plot. But and it feels like absolutely ages since I recorded the last podcast. It's the normal amount of time, but maybe I've just been busier than normal. I do feel like I've got a lot done over the last few days, which I'm going to share with you, including the story about the shed, which is now completely up, which hasn't actually got anything to do with the cut flowers, but it's just a bit of a funny story, that one. So I have been making a new area for planting because if you were listening over the last few weeks, you'll know I was so excited that I thought I've got 48 square meters. This is going to be amazing. And then I realized, oh my God, there's absolutely no way that's going to be enough. I'm going to need more space. So I spent quite a bit of time last week digging up the turf by hand and digging up the nettles. And it's absolutely backbreaking. And I was as stiff as a board by the weekend. And it's also really, really slow progress. It's lovely because you end up with this beautiful, gorgeous, crumbly soil. And I know that there's absolutely nothing in it because I've been over it with a fine tooth comb, but it just takes forever. And I was up here over the weekend thinking, I'm never going to get this done in time. Like, nothing's ready to go out yet. But, you know, when you just look at something and you think that is too mammoth to get done in the next few weeks. So I was thinking, well, what's the next best thing? What can I do? And the answer was staring me right there in the face. But you know how you sometimes you just can't see the wood for the trees. And the answer was to just move some of the fence panels and just pinch a bit of land that has until now been the chickens area and the ducks area, and they have grazed that to death. They have eaten and scratched up absolutely every single living thing alive. And the chickens have moved to a new area anyway for their fresh grazing. So I thought, well, I'll just untie these fence panels and just move them. So I've managed to create this enormous new bed, which is probably about, I don't know, 8 meters long by a couple of meters wide. So, you know, a decent amount just by moving fence panels back. And that's been a revelation because that is finally now the area that the sweet peas are going to grow in. Because I've been looking around thinking, where exactly am I going to put 150 sweet peas? Grown up fence panels. And when I say fence panels, I mean the big metal ones that you see around building sites. And they're what I use to keep the chickens in and around the plot. And my idea was to grow in each individual sweet pea plant up one of the individual metal strands on the inner framework of these panels. But, you know, all around the perimeter is all nettles. So I was thinking, well, I can't put them all around there. They're going to have to go on the inside, but they can't go in the middle because they'll block the light for something else. Where are they going to go? Anyway, by moving these panels around, I've been able to, sorry, it's a bit windy up here actually. I've been able to create an area that's now going to be just for them. So that is absolutely brilliant. And then in front of that is going to be this great big long bed. Now, if you were listening to the last episode, you'd have heard me talking about this new podcast I've been listening to and all the productivity tips and advice that there were in it, and about working out your overheads and your production costs so that you can calculate your prices, or at least have a starting point when it comes to negotiating with anyone you sell them to. And I have been doing that like a crazy person over the weekend because I really got into that and I thought, yes, I want to crunch some numbers on all of this. So I've come up and drawn a plan, a rough plan of the entire area that I have to grow in. And then I've subdivided it into where I think I'm going to grow things this year. So then some plants are already in situ, like the perennials are already here, and so I'm not going to move them again. They've been moved once already. But I wanted to earmark where I thought the dahlias were going to go, and I want them to go all together, but they need to be close to one of the water bowsers because they're going to take quite a lot of water, and I don't want to have to be. There's no point putting them, say, the opposite end of the plot to the water bowser. It doesn't make sense. I know they're going to be thirsty plants, so dahlias had to go down there. And then I've just kind of thought, well, I've got a large space here. I'll put a large number of decent sized plants in here, and so forth. So I've been doing that, and I have to say, it's been brilliant because it's given me an awful lot of confidence about where things are actually going to go, how they work space wise, and that sort of priority list I had. I'm going to focus on these plants, and they're going to have a lot of space if I think they're going to be good value for money and give me a good return. And so by doing this plan, I've then been able to measure out the spaces that I've got in order to work out the square meterage of those spaces. So it's going to change a little bit as the season goes on because I'm doing a lot of successional sowing this year. So I will probably end up sticking plants in other places rather than, perhaps if their initial area gets full, I'll have to put the later ones somewhere else. But it doesn't matter. The point is that I'll be able to say I've got, I don't know, 4 square meters of cornflowers or 8 square meters of amaranthus. And then once I know the production costs, I'll be able to say, look, it's cost me this much to produce this size bed. So how much would it cost me to produce 1 square meter of this plant, and then how much would I sell 1 square meter worth for in the future. So I think that's going to be really helpful for future years. And then following on from that, I turned my compost bin, so the number 2 bin, I've emptied that out into the empty number 1 bin. And I've said already that I don't turn my compost bins. I just leave them. And oh my God, I remember now why I don't turn them, because the compost was so unbelievably heavy, or rather, not the compost because that's sitting on the bottom, but all the material that I've been adding over the course of a year is just sat there, and it's breaking down beautifully. So I've got about, I don't know, a foot maybe again of really fantastic, like the best compost I've ever made. I'm so excited to use it. I can't wait. It's sitting in there at the moment. I want to put it on the beds right before I plant everything out because we're having a really hot spell this week, and I don't want it to just sit on the surface and dry out and just turn into dust. So I've moved the compost over. I didn't see any sign of the rats, but I know they are around compost bin number 2 and number 3. So I did see a little bit of a tunnel, but I was quite careful because I used a fork and I didn't want to just put the fork in and then hear this horrible noise and realized I'd caught a rat. So didn't see anything of them. And that was extremely hard work. It did take me a while to do that. But now the compost is just sitting there ready for me to use. So that's great. And then this duck shed that we've been building. So the ducks have been living with the chickens since I got them. And they've got quite big now. And they're very messy. And they're just quite, not smelly because they're not dirty birds, but their droppings are liquid, whereas the chickens just sort of do these lovely little solid droppings. So the ducks basically make just a really large volume of wet material, and it gets a bit soggy in there and just not very fresh. And so I've just taken the panes of glass off their building just to freshen it up a bit. But the plan is that the ducks are going to go into a house of their own so that they don't have to share anymore, and the chickens have got a bit more floor space in the morning. And so we built this shed, and we were given it for free. We went to collect it, took it to pieces, brought it up here, and it's a great shed. It's one of those metal ones with sort of very, very, very thin metal, like wafers, and you screw it all together with these tiny, tiny screws. I mean, the shed itself is enormous, and the screws were really small and really fiddly, with these really small fiddly bolts as well. There were some nuts and bolts that went on certain bits. And because we didn't have an instruction manual, and it had been put up and put down a couple of times before we got it, so it wasn't always clear what was going to go where. Anyway, we've done it. We put some ventilation holes in it, and that's fine. But you'll know if you've been listening to the podcast for a while that the plot is on a slope. And I'm going to see if I can work out exactly what the angle is, because I don't know, somewhere. I don't even want to guess what it is, but it is quite a slope. And my other half is a builder, and he likes to do things properly, and he likes everything to be level. Everything has to be level all of the time, and that presents quite a lot of challenges when you're working on a sloping plot. And I'm more of a, well, let's just get it up and functional, and then we can, it'll be fine. It's not, nothing's going to slide down the hillside. But so we had a bit of a ding dong about how level the shed had to be, and it went up on one row of blocks just to raise one side of it up, and I thought that was fine. Anyway, he's come back when I've not been here and put it up on another level, so that it's much more level, which is fine. It's not a problem, because it turned out that if it's not level, the doors won't shut properly. So the doors are a real sticking point, and so we've spent hours and hours on this stupid shed now, and it's beautifully level, and he's built this gorgeous path around the side so that I don't slip over when I'm walking around it, which is really, really nice. And it is just beautiful. I can't fault it. It's gorgeous, but it doesn't have any doors on it because we cannot agree what to do about the doors. And I wanted to do something just quick and robust because I'm all about safety up here after my last ducks got stolen. And thank you, Roland. And the doors that are on the shed at the moment are really just rubbish, and it's metal scraping against metal because they're on like a slidey thing, and so every time you open them they just make this horrible screeching sound, which is going to really upset the ducks. So we're busy trying to work out how we can do doors without making it the most complicated, time-consuming project that's ever existed, which is what it's kind of turning into. But so hopefully we can sort that over the next week or so. I've been in the greenhouse sowing more seeds, and I've done pretty much, I think, nearly everything again. So the zinnias, the amaranthus, the scabious, the crospedia, the little yellow golf balls on sticks, calendula, more sweet peas, lots and lots of bits. And then I've just placed an order for some more because, oh, you want to come and sit with me? Hang on, I've got the dog up here with me. Come here, little one. I've just placed an order because I've run out of Orlia, and I thought, oh, I really, really need to have some more of that. You don't seem to get much of that in the packet. So I've placed an order for, what have I just ordered? Oh yes, so some status. I've managed to find an apricot status, and I had these mixed packets last year, and they had lots of horrible, horrible colours in that just made your eyes hurt. And I really didn't want to do that again this year, so I was on the hunt for some apricot ones, and Chiltern Seeds had sold out completely of the apricots, so I had to go on a bit of a hunt for some of those, and they look really, really pretty. So I'm looking forward to those. And I've also ordered some helichrysum, which is the straw flower. And these are really lovely cut flowers, but they're also fantastic for drying, and they hold their colour very, very well. So I thought, well, if I don't manage to sell them in the summer, then I could at least dry them and use them in arrangements or sell them as cut flowers. And I ordered a packet of cosmos, an apricot cosmos, and some stocks. So that's that, and hopefully they will come in a few days. I've also ordered myself 7 new dahlias. So if you listen to one of my earlier dahlia episodes, which was me going on and on about Halls of Heddon dahlias being like a great place to order from, and I had a question about whether I was getting paid to promote them, and I'm absolutely not. I've never ordered from them before. Anyway, I have ordered, and I filled out their fantastic paper form, had to put it in an actual envelope and put a real stamp on it, so you have to include all of those costs as well, rather than just ordering online, which is free, and posted it off. And I'm looking forward to getting the order confirmation, because this is the scary thing about doing things in an old-fashioned way, is that I don't even know if that order form is going to get there. You can't order online, you can't order on the telephone. I was actually thinking, I wonder if they have a fax machine, because they're quite old school, and maybe I could just fax it, from the library or something, or there's probably an app on the computer that you can fax stuff from now, just to be sure that it actually gets there. Because the post, you just think, oh, I'm not really sure about that. I should have done it recorded or registered, and I ran out of time. And I thought, no, it'll be fine. Anyway, we'll wait and see whether they get that order. Um, what else? Oh, yes, as part of the new strategy for working out production costs, I have been writing down in a new notepad the amount of time I spend sowing all these seeds and everything else. I haven't been writing down like the little bit of watering I do for them in the morning because I go out every day and have my coffee outside, and I tend to do my watering in the greenhouse when I'm having a coffee. I go out and have a chat to everyone, all the seedlings, and I kind of think, do I want to write the time? Should I write the time down for that? Because I could just consider it like my time. But maybe I should, just out of interest, I guess. Um, what else did I want to tell you about? Um, oh, Kylie's doing really well. So Kylie's my little broody hen that had babies on Thursday. She had three little gorgeous white fluffy chicks, and we had a bit of um, a nail biting couple of days because she didn't want to feed after she'd had them, and she's been a really hungry girl. She's had two really good meals every day ever since she went broody, which is like the beginning of February, because it's so important to get them off the nest. They need to go toilet, they need to have a drink, and they need to have a proper feed, and then maybe go and have a dust bath or a freshen up or something. And we've been religiously doing that ever since the beginning of February. And she had the babies, and she was like, I am not getting off this nest. I don't care what food you've got. I don't care what's going on. I'm not leaving them. So I was lifting her out, and she wasn't a fan of that at all. And babies were getting upset. And then I'd lift her out, and as soon as I put her down, she just ran straight back on the nest. So then I thought, right, I'll take the babies out, take the babies to the food, and she'll come and join them. And that worked, only everybody just generally got really upset and stressed with the whole thing. So I thought, we'll just leave them. She'll come out when she's ready. I think she was a bit flustered and a bit overwhelmed with the whole thing. Like, she clearly, her body told her that she wanted to have babies, and then she got them, and she was a bit like, oh my God, what is going on? What are these three little things doing running around? But I came up over the weekend, and she just came out one day and she was like, right, I'm ready for some food. What have you got? And she's teaching the babies how to eat. And she is like the bestest mum ever. She's doing such a good job, and she's very calm with them now, which is really nice. Um, so I'm really pleased for her. That's great. The ducks have been naughty. They after I moved all the fence panels over the weekend, and I made myself a new gate to get into the flower patch, and I think they squeezed through the bottom of the gate. So when I came back in the evening, the ducks were just rampaging around the flower plot, which I just had this like heart dropping moment when I thought, oh my God, they'll have eaten all of the herbaceous perennials. They'll have just eaten everything basically. But luckily for me, they hadn't. I don't know what they've been doing, because there are little duck footprints all over the place, including all over the beautifully prepared new sweet pea bed. But they hadn't actually destroyed anything, which I think is a bit of a miracle, to be honest. So that is everything that I have to tell you. I got some other bits and pieces that I'm getting on with, some things that I'm going to try and do for marketing, and well, I've got an endless list of things to do, to be honest. There's more seeds need doing, and everywhere I look, something needs doing. So I'm sure I'll have plenty to talk about on Thursday, but I think that is all I have to tell you today. So I hope you're enjoying this week and the weather. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And and I will catch up with you on Thursday. Okay, catch you later.